Well, happy Veterans Day. I want to bring you the latest data here in the Austin metro area. We've been asking a question for a while. Where are the buyers? How come the buyers aren't buying things? Is it interest rates? Is it price? Well, here's another question. Are buyers just broke? They're out of money. We actually have a new report that came in that may answer that question, and I'll share that with you here in just a second. But we're going to start with interest rates. Right now, we're looking at the 30-year fixed. We're sitting under 7% now. That's the first time it's dropped below 7% in over a week. I think finally, with the election being over, there's a few pieces of certainty that are coming in, but it doesn't necessarily mean that rates, meaning mortgage rates, are going to go down that much. Yes, the Federal Reserve last week lowered their rate 0.25%, which is a good sign that might psychologically help a few people. But the bond market is still nervous about rising federal deficits, about wars, about a transition in the White House, all kinds of things. And so the bond market isn't yet ready to start dropping numbers heavily. So keep an eye on that. I think rates right now are going to continue to stay in that upper 6 to touching 7 range. We'll see if that changes over the coming weeks. All right. I teased you with it, but here's a story that came out last week. Austin is the most debt ridden major metro in the country. Quoted, as it has grown so rapidly over the years, Austin has become a far more expensive place to live. So, where did this study come from? It came from LendingTree. And no, they're not looking at mortgage debt. This is non mortgage debt. We're talking about credit cards, auto loans, student loans. We have a very young metro. We have a lot of people that are, high college graduates. So, of course, they have student loans. They also have to have a car. And, of course, they have credit card debt. So, what's happening is they looked at that across all these major metros and said Austin was number one. So, maybe, just maybe, there's a reason buyers aren't buying homes right now is they have a lot of debt to pay off. Not even including getting a mortgage. And of course, as you know, to get approved for a mortgage, they're going to look at your debt to income ratio. If you have too much debt, you might not be able to qualify for a mortgage. So, Austin, hey, we're thinking about you, young folks. We want to help you pay off your debt. So get some home equity. That might help over time. All right, let's take a look at some October data. So this just came in last week. Of course, we're just now starting to see a look at October. So this is sales data. We'll look at rental data here in a second. So if we look at the 5-county metro area, 2023 is this first column, 2024 is the middle column, and then what percent is the change. Sales are up a little bit in October. What helped is if you go back on interest rates, rates had actually come down into September, even into the low sixes. That allowed primary home buyers especially to get rates in the low sixes. Even some people got like 5.9, for example. And so that helped get a few more buyers off the fence, get them buying properties, and that helped stabilize sales. If we look at median and sold price, they're not bad. I mean, they're still down off last year, but 1% and 2%, not much. Pretty neck and neck, even with last year's. Withdrawn and expired listings are still up almost 7% from last year, and we're still up over 10% on active listings. So the listing count is still high compared to what we've seen in the past few years as this market is slowing down. But we're starting to see the pricing, at least in October, and I think we were benefited with lower rates, start to stabilize in that time. But days on market and months of inventory still up. If I come down, this is going to look at the kind of a chart of the median home price and the average home price. Average is on top, median on the bottom. And what it showed you is just a little blip up. I wouldn't take that as a sign of it turning. I think it'll go back down in November, December, maybe even January. But I think you see a little blip in that spot. If we look at what the end of the year normally looks like, here's what it looked like at the end of last year. We had prices come down through December. We had a little January bounce, and it touched its low point at the beginning of February, which is typically your January buyers or even late December buyers closing in February. And then you see the prices go up in the spring. I think we're going to have a very similar pattern now, unless something changes, but expect we'll kind of hit our low point in the next few months. And then we'll see it when we get to the spring start to go up again. Median price stabilization. So here's the total sales and average sold price pretty neck and neck. This one's pretty flat again over last year. Uh, so uh, so this is looking at the total metro right here, 5 county metro. It was within 1% average sold price. So again, flattening out a little bit over last year. And here's pending units. So if we look at 2023 was this big dark bar. Well, we had super high interest rates going into October last fall, and it killed the market. You can see, boom, huge drop off. This year we had our high rates hit early. So they hit in April, and look, boom, big drop off in May. And then it's kind of fought to stabilize. We've actually got a little higher pendings this year over last year, but still fairly anemic. But point being that, the rates were really sensitive. That affordability factor really pushing up on the ceiling every time rates go up. All right, let's look at rental statistics. So as we look at October, we've got single family rentals in the top half. We have duplexes in the bottom half. So if we look at the total leasing is down, but listings are also down a little bit as well. I think that's a good sign. We need them to be down a little bit. We've had a lot of sellers. If you can't sell, you push your property into the rental market. But hopefully, we're starting to see that kind of peak out. Average rent price is within 2%. It's a little lower than last year, but not terrible. Median also about 2.5%. Days on market is longer, so it's still a supply game. A lot of supply is going to take a little longer to rent. When it takes longer to rent, you accept a little bit lower of a rent price to get those tenants in the door. If we look at duplexes, the good news is the rent amount is starting to stabilize. So we're within, basically break even there. Median is down about 2.6. So still a little soft, but new listings are way up 40% over this time last year, but leasing's up a little bit too. But we're getting a lot more. I think duplexes may take a little longer on the market because they probably compete a little more with all the new apartment supply in the market. But that's what we're seeing on the duplex side. A lot of listings, but right now the rents are pretty neck and neck with where we were last year. All right, let's look at current activity. So this is number of active versus sold listings. Again, the green is single family homes. The green is just showing you listings seasonally are coming down. We're getting into early November. We just dropped below 12,000 single family homes. Last month, we closed 2,400. So we're looking at about 5 months of inventory right there. We'll see how that plays out. But we're seeing listings come down. We're seeing sales, again, start to trickle down too. At this point in November, we're going to have fewer sales. One of the reasons is you have Thanksgiving week. And I know a lot of buyers, if your closing is kind of lining up with Thanksgiving week, you just go ahead and push it and it'll close in early December. So we'll probably have a little spike in closings in December. And I think we'll see a low number in November. Here's original price versus sold price. And again, this is closed price. This is list price is the green line. The blue line is closed price. Well, if we look at October, we closed at 430. In September, we closed at 425. So again, we just saw just ever so slightly a little blip up in the median home price. And I think some of that was because those rates came down. It doesn't mean there were more buyers. It doesn't mean there was a ton more activity, but just seeing those rates come down. I also think you're seeing list pricing, which is the green, start to stabilize a little bit. I think as the market just softens and slows into these winter months, I don't think you're going to see much movement. The comps aren't going to move that much. We're not seeing as much sales activity. And more importantly, we're seeing a lot of withdrawn and expires. I think we're up on that 8 or 9% over this time last year, which had a lot. So what's happening is the sellers aren't getting their number. They're not dumping it. They're going to keep it. They're going to wait till next year, or they're plan B, maybe they're renting that property or staying in that property. So we're seeing a higher number of withdrawn and expireds as well. Hope this is helpful. If you're a seller right now, obviously we're heading into the winter months. Just be prepared. There's going to be low buyer activity. Again, something could change. Maybe we get a big drop in interest rates, or we get some sort of a psychological catalyst that makes people get into a more positive mindset. My gut tells me we'll see that maybe as we get into January, February next year. I'm not feeling it or seeing it in the market right now. If you're a buyer right now, obviously rates is what you're keeping an eye on. But I can tell you, you're not going to have a lot of competition, most likely for the next few months. So if you're looking to get in there and not have a lot of competition, this might be a great window to do so. Anyways, hope this was helpful. Make sure to check out our YouTube channel each and every week at Ryan Kelly Group. You can click that subscribe button and follow these videos every week. And of course, if you know somebody looking to buy, sell, or invest in Austin, I think now's a great time, especially if you're planning towards 2025. Well, happy Veterans Day to everyone out there. Hope you guys are enjoying the amazing fall weather, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks.